All right. Welcome to another episode of the Centre Circle. You got myself, Keith, hosting today, and I'm here with Isaac. How you doing, bro?
I'm good, mate. How are you?
Not too bad at all. Not too bad at all. Uh, John can't be with us today. Funny that after Arsenal lose for the first time in a few games, he can't make it. But let's not read into that.
It's
So
poor from him.
as per usual, we'll round off the Premier League action, starting off with Aston Villa 2, Arsenal 1. Did you see this game?
I did, to be fair, and from what I saw of it, it was quite a it was quite a balanced game. I don't think Arsenal had the usual lion's share of the possession where they suffocate whoever they're playing and just like take control of the game. I think Aston Villa had a good account for themselves. I think Rodgers had a very good game off the left. Kind of, what I liked though is that he didn't always kind of stay on the left. He kind of drifted in and gave Zubimendi another thing to think about.
Mhm.
So it essentially wasn't just Zubimendi against Tielemans; it was Zubimendi against Rodgers and Tielemans. Or if who was on the right, who played right back for them? Because I know Timber was like right centre back.
It was Ben White.
Ben White. If Ben White had tucked in, and then, pardon me, maybe Tielemans had drifted out. Zubimendi had to then decide: do I go? Do I stay? So it was I think it was a very good game of chess between Emery and Arteta, and I think it was a really good game to watch for the neutral. Uh, Arsenal need Gabby and Saliba quickly, and even Mosquera. I think Mosquera is like a level just below. I think Hincapié, what he's suffering from is a lack of minutes because he was very good at Leverkusen. Very calm, very assured in that back three of Tapsoba, Batar, and Hincapié. They were very good. I mean, they went a whole season unbeaten, right? So to see him look quite shaky against Villa, that lets me know he just doesn't have enough minutes. He doesn't have that confidence of consistency, of regularity, right? So I think you need Mosquera or you need Gabby and Saliba quickly.
Yeah, definitely. So before we touch on that, a quick recap of what happened in the game. So Matty Cash put Aston Villa 1-0 up in the 36th minute. Aston Villa going to half time with the lead. At half time, I think rightly so, Arteta makes them substitutions. He brings on Gyökeres for Moreno, who I know has been in good goal scoring form, but outside of his goals, I don't think Moreno offers much personally. And Eze was taken off as well at half time for Trossard to come on the left. And substitution seemed to work. Arsenal started the second half with a bit of impetus, and Trossard got the equaliser on the 52nd minute. However, Aston Villa nicked it in the end with Buendia popping up with a 95th minute winner to, at the time, send Aston Villa to second in the league. Just quickly on the defensive side of Arsenal, were you surprised that Timber started at centre back instead of Ben White? I know in midweek against Brentford, Timber came on and played centre back throughout the game, but with Ben White being the more established centre back, so to speak, you're not surprised that they didn't swap positions?
Timbers played centre back as well.
Yeah, but I'm saying just considering how well he's been at right back for Arsenal, just in terms of comfortability in the formation and the system, I was just surprised that he didn't play right back and Timber, who's played centre back, or he was signed as a centre back for Arsenal.
I would prefer Timber at centre back than Ben White just because he's defensively more solid, defensively more reliable.
Fair.
And I think the combination of White and Saka is a better combination than Timber and Saka for me. For me
Ooh,
personally,
that's an interesting one. I think Timber and Saka's chemistry has built up quite quickly since Timber's been there. I know he had a good relationship with Ben White, but that's an interesting one that you said that, and that could be a reason why I played them together. Uh, Going back to Villa, I think Kamara had a good game. along with Cash, the goal scorer. Tielemans, I know when he signed for Villa on a free transfer, I was very sceptical, but I apologised last season. I'll apologise again. I think he's been very assured and astute, and it's been a good piece of business by Aston Villa because I think he complements that midfield really, really well. And I think Watkins had a fairly decent game. Should have scored in the first half, but good save from David Raya. But I think in all, Aston Villa are pretty good for the win, considering how poorly they started this season. They're now 3 points off the top of the league, which is an indictment to Unai Emery. And I know there's a lot of more online kind of Emery v Arsenal fans because obviously his history there didn't really leave under a nice cloud. But I think he's proven himself. We've said many times on this podcast he's one of the better managers in the league. And considering where Aston Villa are in the league now, he's proven his stock and his worth.
So then, do you not just think that's a case of he just didn't get enough time?
Yeah, I think looking back now, it clearly was that. You've seen Arteta was given the time, and he's turned them into title challengers. And I think at the time that Emery was fired, it was a case of, and I think this was across the board in the league, of we need to be in a certain position now. We need to get there now. Where Arteta came in, it's taken a bit longer to get there. The hierarchy at Arsenal are like, we just need to slow down a little bit. We can see what he's trying to do. He's going to get us there. And I think if Emery was given the financial backing that Arteta has been given, Arsenal might have.
How much is it? A bill?
If it's not a bill, it's just shy. So it's a lot of money. And yeah, potentially Arsenal could have been where they are a lot sooner. So let's see what happens. But yeah, really good win for Aston Villa, and I don't think Arsenal can be too disheartened about a defeat at Villa Park. Right, let's go from the Saturday early game to the Saturday late game at Ellen Road. Leeds 3, Liverpool 3. You can sense I sound a little bit dejected there. And if you watch the game, you'd know why. So, Isaac,
where do you want to start?
Talk to me.
I think, all right, look, with the result itself, I think I'll start with Liverpool's performance first, up until the point of capitulation.
Self-destruction, I would say.
I think I was looking at that was the word I was looking for, capitulation. I think, to be honest, look, we came out the gate. Obviously, Leeds, after coming off the back of a good result against Chelsea, beating them 3-1. I know Farker's obviously, under scrutiny because they say his job's, these next two results were his job was dependent on how these results would go, these games would go. And to be fair to him, he's done well, a win and a draw. Liverpool looked good. We pressed. I liked the energy from us. Don't get me wrong, we looked a bit shaky in some moments, but for the two goals, they came from, sloppiness at the back with Leeds, but that also came from the pressure that we put on him, right? Ekitike done what Ekitike's been doing all season, being in the right position, putting the ball in the back of the net. Great. I loved it. Bradley pressing down the right. Szoboszlai, his energy, his legs, getting about the pitch. We looked good. I'm happy with that. And then it all went to pot. Please tell me why Konate has gone to ground there. That you played defence as a centre back. I've never played defence as a centre back, but even I know stay on your feet. And you're ushering a player out. When a player's in the box, they're heading to the byline. Just stay on your feet. You don't need to go down. You don't need to do none of that. Just stay on your feet. He's decided to go down. Nonto's got taken the contact and done what anyone would do in that position. Go down. All right? He's done what anyone would do in this position and he's gone down. And then from there, it was just like a moment of madness. It was just like our heads just went. Leeds just went. They're back in the game. And then we just reverted to type. It's like we just lost all confidence went out the window. Gravenberch. Oh my word. What has happened to him? It's like I'm sitting there thinking, oh, this is the Gravenberch that Bayern Munich was said that this is not good enough. This is the Gravenberch that went to Bayern Munich and Bayern Munich said, no thanks. What the hell has been going on with him? He's pulling out of challenges. Even for the cross, when the cross came in, all he had to do was just jump up and header it. He's decided to go for the player instead and just let the ball go past him. Oh, mate, what is going on?
I can sense your frustration, and I can commend Leeds for taking advantage when they were given away back into the game. So we say Liverpool 2-0 up, very comfortable, and at that time, even Dominic Szoboszlai has come out and said 2-0, we thought the game was won. And then when Konate gives a penalty away, you can sense that there's nervousness that creeps into the team. And this is an ongoing thing that has happened time and time again throughout this season, where the in-game management, not only by the manager, but by the players as well, has shown that it's not up to par. And the in-game management is what has cost Liverpool time and time again. The substitutions on Saturday, who I thought had a fairly decent game, to play McAllister off the striker. Why would you do that?
McAllister doesn't have the legs or the nuance to do that. I'm sorry. He just doesn't. He doesn't move around enough. McAllister's a centre mid, he likes to just stay in the centre circle, no pun intended, and just kind of like move off it. He's not that kind of player. The stubbornness, Arne Slot's stubbornness I know last season, remember last season, well, not last season, under Klopp, the famous thing was he didn't make subs. He didn't tend to make subs until like the 60th minute. And even then it was like, bro, we needed that sub a little sooner. The game might have gone our way. But he wasn't afraid to maybe use XYZ or use this player or that player. But it's like Slot just makes the same subs regardless of which way the game is going. Gakpo is like the Teflon Don at this point.
Got something on him, hasn't he?
He's got something on the Slot. It can't just be the Dutch connection. It cannot be. It's it's unbelievable.
Yeah, and it's crazy that we're talking about McAllister because it was kind of his genius for letting the ball dummy to run to Szoboszlai to put Liverpool 3-2 up with 10 minutes to go. And you think, right, Liverpool threw away a 2-goal lead. Now they're back in front. They can see this game out. But as has happened quite a few times this season, Liverpool conceded a late goal because of poor defending from a corner. And it happened again with Tanaka scoring his second goal in 2 games, with Leeds coming away with, it's hard to say an undeserved point, but just because of how
it's deserved because they've clawed it back.
Yeah, how Liverpool have capitulated and given them the opening to come away with a point is quite crazy. But as you said, Daniel Farker, he was under a bit of pressure. Had Manchester City, Chelsea, and Liverpool back to back come away with 4 points with a really good performance against Manchester City. Maybe could have got a point there, which would have been 5 out of 9. So, yeah, well done to Leeds, but I think Liverpool are going to be searching for the answer for a long while. Things don't seem to be on the up. And with Inter Milan on Tuesday, who are flying high in Serie A, I don't think much is going to improve.
Another loss incoming. I'm sorry. I have no faith in the club at the moment. That's another loss.
Yeah, I'm loath to agree, but it looks like it's heading that way. Right, over to Manchester City's victory against Sunderland at the Etihad. So Manchester City 3, Sunderland nil, and Sunderland would have been in buoyant mood after nicking a point at Anfield midweek, but I think we saw kind of the Manchester City of old under Pep with this performance. Ruben Diaz opened the scoring with a deflected strike. On first viewing, I didn't know it took a deflection, and I thought it just flew into the top corner.
Oh,
But
okay.
yeah, you see it from a different angle, and you can see it took a slight deflection of the defender. And then Vardiol heads in a Phil Foden corner to make it 2-0 after 35 minutes. And then Foden rounds off the victory with a header after some superb footwork
What did I tell you about Turkey?
from Ryan Cherky. And that was after he had a jinking run to the byline and crossed it in for Haaland, who nearly scored after it was cleared off the line. I think the performance on Saturday from Cherky was what a lot of people who have seen his career in France on the 21 team, were expecting to see a lot sooner than December. I know you've been a really big advocate of him. What was your thoughts on his performance on Saturday?
I mean, I think this was another level to what we've seen so far this season, but I don't think this is his best by any stretch.
So you think there's another level
100%.
to come from him?
100%. He is an absolute baller. Absolute baller. Left foot, right foot, can go either way. Comfortable on the ball, comfortable under pressure. You saw what he did against Sunderland. Can create out of nothing. You know, and what I love about him being at City is what it's done for Phil Foden as well. If you look at Phil, I remember when at the start of the season they were saying, just look how excited he is in the warm-ups.
Yeah, doing
just
the keepy ups with each other. Like there's a little bit more flair to it, weren't it? It wasn't your standard keepy ups
But that comes from knowing you have someone else
on your
who's
neck.
on your wavelength. I'm not necessarily saying none of the other players are of a Phil Foden or Ryan Cherky's ability, but sometimes you just have a connection with another player where he's just on what you're on, right? If I'm gonna bring out the jinky majinky, you're gonna be on it as well. I don't need to ask if you're on it. I just know you're gonna be on it.
It's like, oh, is that what time it is today? Yeah, that's what time it is. And they both raise the bar.
And it's no surprise to see that Phil Foden's performances have also stepped up so far this season. He's back in the goals. He's assisting. Cherky's now bringing assists to the game. Once he starts adding more goals to his game, it's going to be a scary sight. With them two behind Erling Haaland, once all three of them, though, get on the same wavelength, I think City will just do that.
Yeah, so it wasn't all plain sailing. Sunderland had a few chances. There was a few kind of scary moments at the back for Manchester City. And Manchester City have now closed the gap to 2 points on Arsenal, which is quite surprising because if you roll back maybe 2 weeks ago, everyone would have had Arsenal nailed on as title favourites. They're going to run away with it. But Manchester City have kind of quietly been doing their thing, getting the points needed to close the gap. Do you think this could be just a understated Manchester City title charge where they're not necessarily going to win the 10 games in a row that they've done previously, but because teams around them will potentially drop points, they'll be the closest challengers to Arsenal, do you think?
Every year, this is what City does. I can't remember a season, maybe the season where we took them to the wire. They came out of the gate because they had to, because we were on fire. But for the last few seasons, pretty much this is how City have been. They don't start up here. They kind of stumble into it, and then by around Christmas, coming out of Christmas period, all engines are firing, and they just go on this run of games. And you're like, oh, okay, it's either City or someone else, right? And it just seems to be this might well be the case. And the similarity is about the fact that no one's really putting any attention on City is like with Liverpool last season. No one was really talking about Liverpool being title winners, and Liverpool were just slowly going about their business, consistently going about their business. And then the next thing you know, come February, March, it's like, oh, maybe this is maybe we should have been keeping an eye on them. So I think with City, I think Pep's gonna love it. Keep the attention off of us. Let us do what we're doing. Go focus on Arsenal. Go focus on Liverpool's capitulation. Come April, May, we're gonna be right there. And you heard Pep what he said in the news in one of his interviews. He said, I think someone asked him about a title challenge, and he said, "Oh, best believe we will be there. We will be challenging."
Yeah, he's always got that confidence, hasn't he?
You know,
Yeah,
I think they will be there or thereabouts come the end of the season.
I think what could potentially hinder Arsenal in this title challenge is the fact that they're still in all 4 competitions where they haven't really had that previously. And I know they're picking up a few injuries and stuff, so let's see how it pans out. So yeah, let's just round off the rest of the fixtures from the weekend. So earlier today we had Brighton 1, West Ham 1. Jared Bowen put West Ham in the lead in the 73rd minute, but they couldn't hold out, and Ruter popped up with a 91st minute equaliser. I'm sure Nuno won't be too happy about that. Crystal Palace rolled up to Fulham and came away as 2-1 winners. Eddie Nketiah was on the recipient of a very good Adam Wharton pass to put Palace 1-0 up. And Wilson for Fulham, who's having a very good season so far for club and country, equalised with a superb outfoot outside of the foot goal to make it 1-1 before half time. But Crystal Palace nicked it with a Mark Gahey goal on the 87th minute. Bournemouth and Crystal Palace played out a pretty much boring 0-0 yesterday. Bit like last year, Chelsea, their title charge kind of fell away in December. After the draw a week ago, there was a lot of hype about them potentially challenging Arsenal, but they can't seem to be getting over the line here. In the Sean Dyche derby, Everton 3, Nottingham Forest 0. An own goal from Milenkovic. Barry popped up with his first goal for Everton, and Keenan Dewsbury Hall, who's having a really good season himself, popped up to make it 3-0. Newcastle were 2-1 winners at St James's Park against Burnley. Bruno scored what they called an Olympico when you score straight from a corner. Don't know why it's called that, but that's what it is. And then
it's not the first time he's tried it, you know.
Yeah, I've seen him do it a few times.
He's actually tried it a few times. And if you notice, Anthony Gordon was actually blocking the keeper from getting to the ball.
Yes, that could be something they worked on. And then speaking of Gordon, he put Newcastle 2-0 up from the penalty spot just before half time. And Burnley got a late consolation goal through Fleming, who's having a not bad season in terms of goals. He scored for the penalty spot in the 94th minute. But Burnley did play the majority of the second half with 10 men after Lucas Perez was sent off in the first half. And Tottenham ran out 2-0 winners against Brentford. Yavi Simmons popped up with an assist for Richarlison and then scored a very nice solo goal to round off the victory and take a bit of pressure off Thomas Frank after a few defeats in a row for Tottenham. So let's have a look and see how the table looks at the end of the weekend. Arsenal are top with 33 points. Manchester City second, 31. Aston Villa third on 30, with Crystal Palace now in the fourth Champions League spot with 26 points. And down at the bottom, Wolves, who play Manchester United tomorrow, still bottom with 2 points. Burnley second from bottom with 10 points. West Ham 18th with 13 points. So they say come around Christmas time, the league starts to begin to take shape, and we're not far off there. But you have a look, there's only 4 points between 12th and the 4th Champions League spot, so it's all tight in the mixer. So yep, that's another roundup for the week from us. We'll be back next week for more football takes. Peace.
Peace.